This cinema starts with two friends Tom and Vic on a shopping spree. But they are buying the things that would make anyone suspicious of them. They start by covering the walls of a room with soundproofing. They board all the windows and prepare the bed for their victim. They have made a well-thought-out kidnap room. They abducting a woman named Stella. They bring her to the room and begin their procedure. They undress her and take her pictures and dress her into a red tracksuit before collecting her belongings to discard them and leaving the room. The next morning, Vic returns to torment Stella to get her wealthy father's mail ID and cell number so they can ask him for ransom. Vic sends an email to her father but does not immediately receive a reply from him. Meanwhile, they take care of her needs, but Vic tells her not to scream and threatens to kill her if she tries anything. As Tom watches her over time, he becomes disillusioned with their decision to kidnap her, but Vic does not seem to care. As both are ex-criminals, Tom fears they will end up in prison again, but Vic swears him they have made a guaranteed plan and no one will find out about their connection in her abduction. After dinner, as Vic leaves the apartment to contact Stella's father again, Tom remains thinking about her. He goes to her room intending to comfort her but changes his mind when she notices him there. She asks him to let her use the bathroom but attacks him as soon as he unties her from the bed, snatching his gun and shooting at him. As Tom fights to get his gun back, she removes his mask and pinpoints him as her ex-boyfriend. Looking at him in disbelief, she asks if he planned the entire thing, but Tom deflects by blaming her of ruining his life. Thinking he might still help, she begs Tom to let her go, but he declines, saying their plan has just started and she won't be freed until they get the money. Tom itches her to return the gun, but as she refuses to obey, he attacks her, calming her and tying her up again. While putting on the gag, Tom warns her not to reveal their relationship to Vic because if he finds out, he will execute her immediately. Soon, Vic comes back but tells him her father is not willing to pay the ransom. Tom turns out to be worried about the situation, but Vic says he knows a way to force her father to pay. According to the plan, they visit her room again where Vic removes her chains and informs her they are planning to execute Plan B, which is to cut her pinky finger off and film a video to send to her father. Even with her protests, Tom turns on the camera and Vic places the cutter around her finger while forcing her to record a message for her father. Having no other choice, she begs her father to do as they say but also tells she is 4 months pregnant. Even though both are surprised by her disclosure, Vic intends to proceed but Tom stops him, thinking the video will be enough to convince her father. Vic agrees to take it and changes his mind as soon as they leave the room. He warns Tom not to interfere in his work again or he will face the consequences. As they watch the video again, Vic thinks it will work for them and appreciates Tom for selecting her as their victim. The next day, Stella refuses to eat and asks Vic to let Tom serve her instead, but he denies her and decides to do it himself instead. As he is busy with her, Tom sees the bullet shell on the floor and carefully attempts to hide it, but Vic stops him from moving around the room. Stella also understands it and intentionally drops the spoon on the floor, assisting Tom to take the shell while picking it up. After getting it back from Tom, Vic tells him to tie her up again before they leave together. Now becoming suspicious of his behavior, Vic questions him about it, but Tom implies he is just excited about the money and the new life it will help them create. Although not completely satisfied with this explanation, Vic chooses to believe him as he has no evidence that he is lying. Tom tries to hide the bullet shell, so he goes bathroom and put it into flush toilet. When he flush, the shell is in it only. While Vic is knocking the door to open, he takes the shell and swallow it before Vic breaks into bathroom. Vic then takes her photos from the computer and advises Tom to take care of her in his absence. Noticing his frustration, he tells Tom that all of this will be over in the next 2 days and they will be rich and free to go wherever they want. After he leaves, Tom accuses Stella of lying about her pregnancy. Seeing his disbelief, she asks him to feel for himself, but Tom still does not trust her and argues with her again. He asks why she did not tell her before, but Stella tells she intentionally kept the news from him because he went to prison and she was not sure about their future. When she asks whether Vic knows about them, Tom tells her he has not mentioned anything and that he pretended he found out about her after reading a news article about her father. Tom reveals she fulfilled Vic's criteria as she is the only daughter of a wealthy father who can arrange enough money for their needs. As she fights with him for choosing her, Tom admits he did it out of anger because she never visited him in prison. Stella then recaps him of his promise to give up criminal activities and how he didn't and eventually got arrested at her place, sharing that she understood he was not going to be a good father to their child and decided to stay away from him. Tom also shares their plan of starting a new life with her ransom money as he knows he won't be able to secure a job due to his criminal records, but her father is a selfish man who is not ready to pay a penny. As Tom once again demands an explanation about her pregnancy, she needs him to check doctor's appointments from his phone. He thinks about confirming it but changes his mind after recognizing it might help the police track their location. In the meantime, Stella, who is not yet ready to give up, pretends to throw up and lures him into the room where he unties her, but she tricks him and chains him to bed instead. After a failed attempt to unlock the door, she uses one of their cell phones to call the police but spots the keys on the floor right next to Tom's bed. Both effort to distract each other, but Tom be able to free his hand and kicks her unconscious before restraining her again. After a while, Vic comes back with news that Stella's father has finally agreed to deliver the money but tells him they will have to move her somewhere else from the apartment. Excited by the success of their plan, Vic admits he was nervous about it but everything went smoothly and now they will be getting $4 million by the next day. Vic tells that he will use the money to go to Mexico and invites Tom to join but he politely declines. After the conversation, Tom thinks about getting rid of Stella's stuff but finds her pregnancy records confirming that she was telling the truth. In the meantime, Vic comes to Stella's room to take her with him but gets furious after finding the cell phone in her pocket. Seeing that a call to the police was made from the phone, he asks her about it but she points toward Tom did it as she is tied and cannot do anything. Irritated, Vic slaps her but she accidentally calls Tom, alerting Vic that the two have been hiding something from him. Upon his question about their interactions, Stella tells him Tom only told her his first name to calm her down but Vic does not believe her. While questioning her, he also finds the bullet and asks her about how it ended up here. Unable to hide of anything, Stella admits she shot it at Tom during her failed escape attempt and also that Tom is her ex-boyfriend. Shocked to hear this, Vic suspects Tom must have told his name to her. Although she denies it, he knocks her unconscious. When Tom comes back later, Vic does not tell anything about his interaction with Stella and only asks why he selected her for their plan. He also gives Tom another chance by asking if he is honest with him but Tom lies again. Still keeping it to himself, Vic gives her anesthesia before they take her to the van to move her to a new location. Upon arriving at their second hiding place, a boathouse, they remove their masks and chain her when Tom finds out about her injury but does not say anything to Vic. He then commands Tom to hand over his keys and orders him to go together with him to get money from her father. As the original plan involved Tom staying with her, Tom disagrees but Vic convinces him to join by saying he wants him there in case something unexpected happens. Tom worries if they won't make it back, Stella will die at the boathouse but Vic does not care and itches Tom that he should not either. He further advises they should kill her after taking the money because if she stays alive, there will always be a risk that she might identify their voices. Tom reluctantly agrees to his suggestion and they exit the boathouse leaving her behind. Vic takes him into the middle of the forest and asks him to get the money which he hints is buried in the ground. Tom acts upon his orders but soon realizes it was a trap as Vic reveals he sent different coordinates to her father. Vic points the gun at him to punish him for his betrayal. Tom begs him to spare his life saying he does not have to do it because they will be going separate ways after getting the money but Vic says he must face the consequences of his dishonesty. Tom efforts to run away but is shot by Vic. Vic then goes back to the van where he finds Stella's phone and throws it into the lake before driving away. He also gets the money from Stella's father and comes back to the boathouse to kill her. He plans to poison her, but an injured Tom shows up just in time to save her. Vic shoots at Tom again but Stella helps him snatch the gun from him. Tom eventually kills Vic before getting the keys and handing them over to Stella to free herself. Stella hurries to him but realizes he is taking his last breath and won't be able to save. As Tom lies there exhausted, Stella leaves the boathouse and gets to Vic's car parked outside. On the passenger seat, she also catches the money they got from her father and thinks about using it to start a new life with her child. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe our channel, like and share this video and hit your comments.